hi, I'm Erin with Magnolia Homes and Land. Today we're here with Brittany Bishop, who is a mom, a wife, a photographer, the creator of the Ocala Mom Walks group, among many other things. We're so happy to have you here today, Brittany.
Thank you.
So to start off, can you kind of tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. So I am, like you said, mainly a mom and photographer, and now I run the Ocala Mom Walks group. I'm originally from South Florida, but I moved to Ocala 11 years now, so I feel like I've been here a while, and I really like it. It's a great place to be and to raise a family. So yeah, I started my business here. I started having kids here.
So what would you say is your favorite part about Ocala, if you could choose anything about Ocala?
I think I like it's a small town feel, but it's not such a remote, tiny town with nothing.
Right.
Especially now, I feel like there's so much. Just in the last few years, it's grown so much, and there's so many more people have moved here, and just there's a lot to do. Like as a young family, it seems like there's always something going on. So
I would agree. And honestly, I grew up here. I was born here, so kind of seeing the way it's, transformed into the town that it is super cool. Like seeing how small it was in the start and how many people have moved here. It's definitely a growing city. And I think I used to feel like I wasn't going to raise my family here. But now I'm like, I have to raise my family here. It's such a cool place. Like you said, small town feel with, a lot going on still.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
definitely awesome. So tell us a little bit more about your photography business. Like what led you to start that and kind of what you're doing now with it.
Not many people know this, but I actually went to school for accounting. I think people meet me and they're like, wow, like that doesn't sound like a good fit. And it wasn't. So I did all that schooling, and I moved here and tried, I worked in accounting for probably less than 2 years. And I was like, this isn't the right fit for me. So I was like, what am I going to do? I know I need to get out of this and do something different, like wildly different, but like I had to figure out, what do I even like? What do I want to do? So took a few months to kind of figure that out, and did a bunch of random jobs. I had like 3 different, random jobs at a time. I always liked taking pictures and photography. I was always that friend in the group, like in college with the little point and shoot camera, flinging like 60 photos to Facebook from the night. And so I got my first camera on Black Friday. So almost got time here. Yeah. That was 2016 is when I started. Yeah. So I got my first camera and learned, just like kind of taught myself how to use it. And along the way, I've done a lot of education and stuff like that to learn more. But you kind of do have to figure it out like hands-on yourself. There's not so much you can read or look at videos. So then I knew I wanted to be a wedding photographer at the time. Well, not now, but you can't just, jump into weddings, or at least you shouldn't. So I had to learn how to do that, because that weddings encompass all kinds of photography on the day.
So now that you bring that up, it brings back a memory that I had. So when I first started following you on Instagram, it was probably, I think it was in 2020 when I was planning my wedding.
Okay.
Actually. And I was like, oh, cool, look, a wedding photographer. And then I saw that you switched out of that. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah. So in the beginning, I started with young families and like senior portraits, I think, just to learn. And then I wanted to do weddings. So I would second shoot, third shoot, just do it for free, just whatever, to try to learn from somebody else. Because there's a lot that goes into a wedding. So then I did weddings primarily for years, which was great. It was fun for the time in the season. And then the pandemic happened, as well as I had my first baby. Basically the same week, March 2020. So both of those things changed a lot. Yeah, I kind of just decided I didn't really want to do weddings anymore, and I wanted to stay. I did a lot of traveling for weddings too.
Okay.
I didn't want to travel anymore with a baby, and Entering motherhood, I had more interest now back into like the family photo realm again and newborns.
Right.
Which again, like newborns, that's not something you can just do. Like you have to really learn how to do that, and practice that skill and everything. But yeah, so now I don't do weddings anymore, and it's been a good change, I think, and it fits my season of life too.
Mm-hmm.
Because I have a 4-year-old and my baby just turned 1, so I feel like I can relate to my clients.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would agree. And I feel that because when you photographed me too and my family, like I always felt that like you knew like what was going into it, like that stage of life, all the stages of being a mother and all that, which honestly makes you feel really comfortable knowing that the person behind the camera knows what you're going through.
Yeah, well, definitely helps because when I started, I found family photography to be pretty hard. Especially with, like 2-year-olds and
Right.
and that having gone through that, I was like, I don't know what to do here. But now I get.
So what would you say like your favorite session is, or like your favorite age group or whatever?
I think I like babies turning 1, like their first birthday and those pictures and that age. I think that's my favorite age. Probably like 9 months to like 15 months or so.
Yeah.
Which is what my daughter's in now.
I can't believe she's already 1, by the way.
Wow. Just turned 1. So, and I know how fast it goes. Like, so I think going through it once already, it didn't go, I don't think it went by quite as fast as normal because of the pandemic.
Okay.
So, yeah, like I literally had her in March 2020. So I think 2020 and 2021 for everybody was like dragged on forever. So that was good and bad. But the second time, the second baby, it's flown by.
Right. And I hear that too, like even without a pandemic.
Yeah,
Like,
because you're just busier
right.
with the first and busier in general. So, I mean, I really believe in you have to take so many pictures, especially in that first year, because they change like every day.
They do.
They wake up from a nap and you're like, why do you look older?
I literally said that to my husband yesterday. I was looking at Arlo and I was like, he put him down for a nap, and then I got home and he woke up and I was like, did you do something? Like, did you cut his hair or did something happen? Like, he looks so different.
I know.
I mean, it definitely flies, and it's bittersweet because it's cool to see them grow and all that good stuff. But it's also, like you said, you need to take the pictures because it's
Yeah.
to forget what they looked like as a baby. So it's good to look back on those pictures.
Yeah.
So time to dive in a little bit more to what you created in the community, the Ocala Mom Walks group. I'm personally a part of it, as you know, and I love it. And I think that you have done a great job with it. And you really have, worked hard to make it, a community for a whole bunch of women, a whole bunch of moms. So can you tell us a little bit about why you started that?
Yeah. So I started Ocala Mom Walks in February of this year, 2024. So I started it because my sister lives in Texas and she was a part of a mom walking group out there.
Okay.
And I was like, oh, like that's really cool. I really like that idea. And there wasn't one here.
Right.
And so I'm like, I feel like I could do this. I could start this. And I feel like I'm one of those people that turns all my hobbies into businesses. So I'm like, "Huh, I want to try to do something that's not a business. I do not need another business
Yeah.
and just something for fun and for everybody to have fun and just something to do because before having my second baby, my 4-year-old is in preschool now. So before I had the baby, I'd kind of gotten out of that. Like I wasn't staying at home with my first daughter all day. She was in school. So now I'm back to being a stay-at-home mom full day with the baby.
Right.
So I was like, okay, I need to find some things to do and be with around more people, more moms who are also at home a lot or just looking for more people to hang out with or other people who they also have maybe their first baby or maybe their fourth baby or it doesn't have to be a baby. There's all ages in our group, but just I'm blessed to have a lot of friends here, but a lot of my friends, not everybody has like the same kind of schedule and availability. So I wanted to kind of find some more people that I could hang out with.
Mhm.
during the week and, in the morning but I have made the group so that everybody hopefully feels like they can attend something because people do have different work schedules. So we try to do something like alternating on a weekend day, a weekend night, a weekday morning, or weekday night. And so try to like hit everybody because yeah, I mean, even if you don't work, you're every mom is insanely busy and crazy schedules. So yeah, I wanted to make it so not just like for me to meet more people, but for other moms. I think having my first baby, I learned how important it was to do life with other people. And I mean, the pandemic was challenging because I was inside the house staring at four volcanoes already. A screaming baby, right? Yeah, I wish that something like this was around then. Especially, a lot of what we do is outside, and it's just people tell you like you need to get outside every day, and it sounds dumb, but it's true.
Right. I notice when I take Arlo outside, it's like he's a new human. Like,
Yeah, especially the kid.
right.
Yeah.
Right. It's just, I mean, like you said, it's good for us, but it's also super good for them, like to just get out and being a stay-at-home mom and full-time realtor, he doesn't really go around kids a lot. So having that community to get him around kids as well as get me around moms and
Yeah.
communicating, you can't find that normally. Like if you
It's
do
hard.
it somewhere. So
Because like even if you have a lot of friends and a lot of friends with kids, like even though you can have the best intentions, be like, oh, we need to get the kids together, have a play date, and it's just really easy to not happen.
right.
Yeah. If it's not like a scheduled thing. And so I think that's helped everybody to kind of like, okay, like next week is a play date and this time, this place, like it's set up kind of. Um, so yeah, because it's just everyone is just so busy, but I think just finding more community and yeah, for the kids too, because I do hear that a lot. Like if the kid is not in school yet, they don't always know a lot of other kids or around a lot of other kids. And so it's fun to see the little ones in our group also becoming like little friends.
Right. And it's like watching them interact and it's just like, oh,
Yeah.
I did seeing your kid interact with other kids that, they don't typically get around other kids. So it's like, oh wow, cool. Like you can, socialize and interact and be a
It's
kid.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
for sure. And I know, I went through the pandemic with a newborn. I know what that's like to feel like trapped in your house. And pandemic or not, I hear that from people like they want to do something, but they don't know where to find it or who to find, and so they do feel kind of trapped as a stay-at-home mom or work from home mom or whatever in your house with your kid climbing the walls. Like my daughter literally climbs the walls. So I'm like, oh my gosh, we gotta get out. Yeah. But yeah, my first daughter is very extroverted and social. So she especially needed, I think maybe it would have affected her if she was like 2 or something. So I'm actually glad she was a newborn in retrospect. She was a toddler, but it was still very hard being a first time mom.
absolutely.
And not having anybody like I had set up or somebody had set up a meal train for me, and that didn't happen because like that was the first week of the pandemic. People were like wiping down your like groceries and yeah, so we didn't. It was just this postpartum was a lot different for the better.
Right. You had community, which is always good. So
Yeah, but I've dealt with mental health struggles and a lot of that for me, it helps being around people and being outside, getting out. Like even if you don't feel like it, just like getting out somewhere, doing something with people. Like we're not meant to live life alone.
no, definitely not. I know there's some nights where I see that there's like a walk the next day and I'm like, man, I really need to do that. Oh God, like I'm pregnant. I don't feel like it. And then I wake up that morning and I'm like, no, I'm going to go because like this is good for me. This is good for him. And then once we're there, it's like, yeah, I'm so glad I did that.
Yeah.
'Cause it's just really nice. Like, and you'll meet someone new like every time, which is also cool. So then you get to talk to someone new and get their perspective on being a mom and all that good stuff. So you get a lot of advice with it too, which is really cool.
Yeah, we have a group chat that anyone can join. And that's been really neat to see people. It is a lot of like asking for advice or recommendations from just like, what kind of, what helps a teething baby
Right.
to, what stroller do you have, or what school does your kid go to.
So we've been seeing like, hey, does anyone need a stroller? Does anyone need
Yes.
this? Does anyone need a
Really
dime?
nice. Yeah.
Yeah, that's really great.
Is there
Yeah, come get it.
Yeah, I mean, you grow out of the baby equipment pretty fast, and then it's like not used very much. So it's nice to help each other.
And I think what's been really cool too is just like watching the group grow, and that's all thanks to you, and just like and some of the members of our groups too. Like it started out as like walking and different things like that, and then here comes the group chat. The group chat started, and that was really cool. And then now we're doing a whole bunch of different activities throughout the week, and just getting the moms together alone, and having that time together. But then also having like we went to Marley May and we did that, and cool craft for the kids, different things like that. So I feel like it's growing and it's expanding to be something super super cool. So
Yeah, I wanted to do more stuff. I always have like ideas in my head of things to do, and there's so much to do in Ocala. Like I said, I mean, especially for kids and young families, and there's so many places to go. And so, yeah, like I love the walks, but we also do like play dates, and a lot of local businesses have, like, everywhere we've gone, they've messaged me and invited us to their venue or to do a craft with them. Or so that's been neat to kind of like collaborate with businesses too. And yes, the mom's nights out, that is
still in Duran yet. I haven't been to one yet, and I need to go. But
it's hard to get there. I mean, I get it, but if you can, like, that's a really important piece of motherhood, is like somehow getting time for just yourself and with other moms, other women, and it's, you can actually talk and
without having to chase a toddler around, and I feel like, oh my gosh, it's like so, I guess what's the word, underrated, when you can actually sit there. And I think a lot of like first time moms who are pregnant, like I guess don't really ever get that advice. Like, hey, your whole life is about to change. Like it's going to be really hard, and I think being a mom is sometimes like glorified, I guess you could say. Like it's going to be the best time of your life, which it is. I mean, it's great, but I feel like sometimes everyone overlooks like also like the nitty gritty, like how hard it's actually going to be, waking up early, or waking up every 2 hours, like you said, not even getting a meal time really for yourself, like always making sure that, they're not choking or they're not falling out of their high chair, or, different things like that. So, or you can't even go out to eat, anymore. With that, I mean, you can, but it's difficult. And I mean, it's just much harder.
yeah.
So, I mean, I feel like,
And I think that's okay it's good to have other moms like say that, yeah, this is hard. Like, it's not just you, you're not doing anything wrong. Because, in the beginning, when we take my daughter out to eat, yeah, it's like, why can other people do this and we can't seem to figure it out, or it's just not a good time. But there's plenty of people that feel that way too. So I think it's good to be able to be honest with other moms so they don't like feel as
alone.
yeah.
And like getting the advice too, like, because maybe someone has a trick that you haven't thought of like,
Yeah.
oh, you can't go out to eat without it being, a whole event. Then, hey, have you tried this, or get this book from Amazon, or get this, and it's just different things like that that, could make it just a little bit easier on us as moms moving forward. So it's been a really great group, and it's, been eye-opening to see the different places in Ocala that, cater to kids and like all that good stuff.
Yeah.
So
a lot of times people will go somewhere and they're like, I didn't even know this was here.
Yep. Like the Discovery Center. I went to camp there when it was like Tuckawilla Park's camp. I don't remember what it was called. And then now I'm like, oh my gosh, like it's the Discovery Center.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that was there. How did I not know that this was there? So something like that.
Yeah. And I think not being from here, I had to kind of find everything and research a lot. And I think the people who have grown up here, yeah, you kind of just end up going to the same places, or not really know that there's like a new place or something that is still around that you forgot about from your childhood. Or
it's been great. And I wanted to thank you too for starting it. And honestly, it's kind of funny that you said you always make your hobbies a business, because it almost seems like that, and not like a bad way, but like a good way. Like you put so much of your effort into it, like it is a business, that it's like super helpful for everybody else. So I just wanted to thank you, and like actually putting in the effort and like someone had to do it and you were the one that did it. And, you're making a difference with this group by bringing all these moms together and bringing the community into it as well. So I think it's really important.
Oh,
Thank you.
I'm so glad that you came. I feel like you were one of the first ones. Yeah.
Closer to the beginning.
Yeah. It's been neat to see, all kinds of people that I know, but a lot of people I don't know. And people think Ocala is really small sometimes, but like you said, every event, there's a new person, people that come who nobody knows, or a lot of people who've come recently, they just moved to Ocala. So that's really neat.
Yeah, it's really cool. Like the fact that they're finding our group and, it's awesome. It really is.
Yeah, we've had a few people who hadn't moved here yet, but were planning to in a few months or so, and they already joined the group and a group chat. So, because if you just move here,
you don't know anything or anybody, that's hard. I could never.
Yeah, and I remember what that felt like, even without kids. It was hard, and I feel like almost having kids gives you something to do or
a way to meet
people, kind of. But I moved here when I was 23, and going into my first career. So, it was, I remember what that's like, and I don't want anybody to feel alone or what are they doing here? Or nobody wants to hang out, because it's not true. I think it just needs to be kind of organized.
Right. And I think that's so important. Like you said, moms are so busy, and I have a few mom friends, and we do hey, we have that intention. Let's hit but like you said, if it's not scheduled or, everyone's busy, they might have something else going on. So it's hard to nail down a day.
Yeah.
But having a group like this, that there's going to be a mom there typically that, you can associate with. And then there are people in the group just reaching out hey, I'm walking here today. Who wants to join? So it's created even more events happening around Ocala.
Yeah. So it doesn't have to be one of the events on the calendar. People anybody want to do this today? Or so that's cool.
Right. And I think I looked at the Instagram chat the other day, and there was 174 people or something like that in it.
I don't know what the current count is, but it's a lot.
Yeah, I saw that and I was like, what? How did this happen so quickly?
I don't know. There's a lot of followers to the page. So to me, that's not something, it's not something that I necessarily did. I think it just shows that it's needed in here.
Right.
Gratefully, where even more people find that. And looking forward to next year, the second year with it. And
see the growth that happens even more next year.
I know, because in the beginning we had all these little babies, and they're little toddlers now.
Like I said, it goes so fast.
Yeah, Nora was the youngest. My daughter was the youngest one when I started it.
But it's also good. I don't know.
Yeah,
it's really cool to see the kids grow up. And I mean, I know we're only in our first year, but it's going to be really cool to see all of them grow up.
Yeah.
And some of them are going to go into school and different things like that. So, and then there's going to be new babies and all sorts of
Yes, and the older kids, they know a little bit about it. And my older daughter, she's usually at school, and she gets jealous that she doesn't go to a lot of our stuff. And she's like, I want to go to a mom walk. What's the next mom walk?
Oh, when you're in school.
Yeah. But we do a lot of the, we're going to have a Christmas party. We just had a big Halloween party, and those we try to make so the school age kids can come. So it's either, late afternoon or on a weekend.
Right.
And the Halloween, I don't know, you weren't at the Halloween. It was pretty big. It was a lot of fun. Yeah.
I went to
were you at the 4th of July?
Yes.
Yeah. That was in that was the biggest.
I couldn't believe how many people were there.
They were over 100 people.
Yeah.
That was insane. Wild. It was so fun.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
They had all the different splash pads and bounce houses and all sorts of different things. The little octopus that throws water everywhere. It was really, really cool. And it was a great turnout too, which was amazing to see that community come together. I didn't even, like I said, I didn't even know there was that many people in there.
But they're not all that way. So if you're somebody oh my gosh, I'm not a crowd person, it's not, there can be, especially the moms only events, those are typically a lot, smaller, which is nice to have a more intimate setting too.
Right.
But I never know how many people or who's gonna come, but
Yeah.
I like that.
And I'm glad you said that they're not all like that, because I know that there are, some people that get a little socially elitist like me, who, sometimes big crowds are intimidating,
Yeah.
different things like that. So sometimes it's nice to have like that smaller group.
Yeah, the walks are not 100. I think when it's like a bigger event, like a party, it's
Like a holiday. I feel like that's been like the biggest. Like people want to go celebrate a holiday with their kids. So
yeah.
if you don't want that big environment, just come to a mom block. Because it's typically,
Right.
I find, more like one-on-one, because there's the small walking trail, and then it's just you and one other mom walking, and then you'll, hang back, and then you meet someone else or things like that.
Yeah,
So,
for sure.
last thing to kind of wrap everything up, you've been a mom for a while now. What advice would you give, like maybe a new mom who's currently pregnant or thinking about having kids or what have you? What advice would you give them?
Well, I think talked about it so much, but I think just to really try to find community. And if you can't find it, make it, right? Create it, or just, keep trying, because it's not easy, but it's worth it. And it's hard to do everything alone, and you shouldn't have to feel that way. Being a mom is, people say it's like the greatest thing and the hardest thing, and both are true. You just kind of, I don't know, as a first time mom, you don't really know what to expect, and like that's okay, right? But you're gonna learn and grow as a person. Like I think there's this quote, like when you have a baby, like the baby is not just the new person you're meeting, like it's you, like a mom, a mother, like the mother was born too. And I think that's really true, because it will make you grow so much, and your kids, raising kids, will teach you so much about yourself and everything. But yeah, just feel like, you're not alone. You don't have to be, right?
And I think that's something I realized too, being a new mom, is like you're going to change.
Yeah, it's a lot of change, which can be good, bad, neutral. But yeah, I think everything about you kind of goes through a change. But I think it's for the better.
Right. I would agree. I mean, like you said, it teaches you things about yourself, like that you may not have known. And honestly, it teaches you things that, okay, maybe I need to work on that about myself. That's happening too. It's like, I feel like you start growing exponentially. Like,
as a very refining. Yeah.
Talking more for me now that I'm pregnant, due in April, what would your advice be for moms that are transitioning from only one kid to two kids?
I think it was easier. Okay. I don't know. Everybody might have a different answer, but I think it was just so different because I already knew so much more than the first time.
Right.
Like, how to be a mom. So you're not just going from square one. And I think it depends too, like the age gap and everything. And like everybody's going to have a different experience with that. But we've loved having a second one, and they're both girls, so that's been a lot of fun, and they love each other, which I didn't know. Like, I was like, oh, what, like, is my older one gonna like this? Or
I think that's honestly my biggest fear, is like, is Arlo going to accept the new baby, or even the new baby? How's that dynamic going to be? I feel like that's my biggest worry.
But I think it just becomes a built-in friend for them. And I don't know, I think you kind of surprise yourself with how much you know already, and you are more like second nature, or you've been through this before, this, bump in the road, like, you're like, okay, I did it once, or do it again. Yeah. So I definitely don't think it was as big of a change as 0 to 1.
That's good to know, because I feel like 0 to 1 was almost traumatic.
Yeah, it can be.
It's going to be fine. Everything's going to be fine.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Brittany, for joining me today and just talking about, being a mom and, learning a little bit more about you and why you started the group and all that good stuff. It was really nice talking with you today.
Thank you. Yeah, thanks for having me.
Absolutely.
All right.